Oh, we are now streaming live on Facebook, so it's time to go. Welcome, everyone, to the February Midrealm Bardic Showcase. The theme for this month is romance because I had to. I just couldn't do it any other way. I'm so glad everyone is here. We have an intimate number of performers this evening, so I'm very looking forward to it. Our first performer is Leathon. So Leathon, if you would please unmute yourself and take it away.
Well, thank you. The song that I'm going to do tonight is written by my bandmate, Gwen Knighton, and it's from the perspective of Guinevere, remembering Lancelot when she was a child, when she was a young woman, and when she was a crone. It's called Falling for Lancelot. Flash of thought from long ago, when I was but a maid. As I walked the heath, a cloud rose up, and I lost my way. Then he came striding through the mist in his cloak of elfin green. He took my hand, he led me home. I thought he must be a dream. I watched him walk back through the mist. I tied my girdle in a lover's knot. The knot tried true, I felt fate twist. I knew at 10, but soon forgot the feeling of falling for Lancelot. The feeling of falling for, knew I was falling for, hopelessly falling for Lancelot. The sun shone bright on Camelot, my troth made me a queen, and Arthur's court the finest place the world had ever seen. One day he came to tournament, and he bested every knight, and I recall that misty day, and felt my heart take flight. The ladies watched him, all enthralled. The air was dense with lovers' knots. We'd all have hastened if he called. Ladies whispered, hatch their plots, all of them falling for Lancelot. The feeling of falling for, knew I was falling for, hopelessly falling for Lancelot. Fair face, elven grace, always seen with his queen. All besought, ladies sought, the fever and lark for Lancelot. And in the cloister where I stay, history flickers like mist. I forget the names of kith and kin, but remember lips I've kissed. And he comes dancing through my dreams of a future that I dread, where every maid keeps not her heart, but gives it to him instead. I watched him in a million masks, and the ladies still tie lovers' knots. They lose their sense to as he asks. They lost their hearts and all for naught but the flickering ideal of Lancelot. The flickering memory, legend and canon of ions of Gwens and their Lancelots. All of you falling for, foolishly falling for, knowing you're falling for, desperately falling for, hopelessly falling for, helplessly falling for the feeling of finally, finally, finally falling for Lancelot.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much for bringing that song to our evening and for sharing it with us.
You are welcome. I will have to leave you now because there are shenanigans going on in the East Kingdom and I must depart. So,
Oh,
au
well,
revoir. I love you all.
yes, we love you too. Our next performer is Sifrid Brumbach. So, Sifrid, if you would please unmute yourself and take it away.
Okay. Well, this evening I'm going to do a piece which is this is a piece by Walter von der Vogelweide. Walter was a late 12th century to early 13th century German Minnesänger. He's probably the most famous of the German love poets of that time period. And so this particular piece is called Unter den Linden, and it's about a tryst between a lady and her lover in the heather, and how they meet and how they no one watches them except for the nightingale. And so there's a Tandere Dei is what the nightingale says. Unter den Linden an der Heide, da unser zweier Bette was, da möget ihr Winden schöne beide, gebrochen Blume, Hundegras, vor dem Wald in meinem Tal, Tandere Dei, schöne Sang de Nachtigall. Ich kam gegangen zu der Hauer, da was mein Fredel kommen, da ward ich empfangen, Herre frö, da ich bin selig jeme me, küsst Herr mich voll Tösend und Tandere Dei, seht wie rot mir ist der Mund. Da hätt gemachet, also Riche von Blumen, eine Bettelstadt, das wird noch gelächelt, innegliche, kommt jemen as dasselbe Bad. Die der Rosen Herr voll mag, Tandere Dei, merken war mir tröbet lag. Dass er bei mir lager, wissen jemen nun entfälle Gott, so schämt ich mich, wers er mit mir pflege, nimmer niemand befinde, das von er und ich, und ein kleines Vögelein, Tandere Dei, das mag wohl getrühe sein.
That was lovely. And I have to ask, what instrument is that you're playing?
This is an Alemannic or Germanic lyre. So it's actually the lyre is probably about 6 centuries too early for the piece of music, because these are found from about the 5th or 6th century up through about the 14th in Scandinavia.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad you were able to join us this evening, and that was a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Yes. Our next performer is Tommaso. So, Tommaso, if you would please unmute yourself and take it away.
They say that stories of the supernatural, of the wee folk and the fair folk, are for children. Perhaps. So the princess was out playing and running about the garden, and she had with her this golden ball that she'd had since she was but a wee child. Now, because it was a child's toy, it wasn't real gold. It was sort of stuffed with wool and sorts, but she loved it. She'd had it for quite a while, but she stopped to sit by one of the garden pools. She may have been 15, she may have been 16, but distracted, she allowed the ball to fall into the pool. And she wept, for she has had this since she was a child. And since she was a child, how will she ever get this back? But then a frog hopped up alongside of her. Not Kermit Hilla. And the frog looked at Princess, if you will do me 3 favors, I can get that ball for you. I suppose, swear to me. I swear to you, if you retrieve the ball, you'll have your favors. Swear to me on your father's throne I swear upon my father's throne, I will do you 3 favors. Immediately, the frog jumped into the pool, swam down to the bottom, brought up the golden ball, and placed it in her hand. Thank you so much. Remember, you owe me 3 favors. Yes, 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 of course. And she scampered off into the house. And by the evening meal had quite forgotten until suddenly she heard a slopping across the floor. And here came the frog. It says, Princess, I ask for your first favor. I must sit in your lap. All right, I suppose. So she picked up the frog, and it was a bit slimy and smelled of algae and pond scum, and set it upon her lap. Puts a napkin underneath it because you never know when a frog's going to make a mess. And he proved a very polite frog, and he sat there calmly throughout the evening meal. And when the meal was concluded, he said, "Thank you, Princess," and he hopped off, and she went to bed and woke up the next morning and had quite forgotten. But when she sat down to her breakfast, the frog hopped right up to the table and said, Princess, remember, you owe me 2 more favors. Yes? Princess, I must eat from your plate. And, well, she thought it was a bit odd, but, she pieced up her eggs and her sausages such that the frog could snap out his tongue and eat them as he might a fly. And after a meal where he was good table manners for a frog, she supposed, he hopped off and went about the rest of her day, well, eventfully. And by the time it was time for her to retire, she had quite forgotten the frog. And as her maid is getting her ready for bed, suddenly at her bedside table is the frog. Princess, there is 1 more favor you owe me. But of course, you swore. Yes, I did, whatever it be. I must sleep in your bed, Princess. Okay. This frog is strange. He smells funny, but, sent her maid to fetch a little throw about frog size and set it up next to her pillow and set the frog upon it. And he closed his eyes and did whatever frogs do when they're sleeping. And she, looked at him oddly for a bit and then shrugged her shoulders, curled up in bed beside the frog. In the morning, she smelled something very different. For there was not a frog in bed with her, but there was a fully grown man. And she got out of bed with a start. And, the man, because he had previously been a frog, was quite naked. And arranging her nightgown clothes, crowded, her maids are coming. Princess, you saved me. I was a prince under an enchantment. Well, immediately the palace came to an uproar. We've rescued this prince, and turned out he's from a far off kingdom and fabulously wealthy. Who would have guessed? But of course, fairy stories are for children. When you speak of someone with a bit of an odd smell that you're not used to sitting in your lap and eating off your plate and sleeping in your bed.
It's funny, actually, a friend of mine messaged me when you started your story, and she's like, "Oh, this is one of my favorite stories." Thank you so much for telling it and for participating this evening. It was delightful. And Hilla is very excited with her Kermit that a frog uh, was featured this evening. Our next performer is Ursula Mortimer. So, Ursula, if you would please take it away.
The children laugh at us. We are not young. They think grotesque that we love openly, that words of passion fall from grandsire's tongue or widow's well-worn heart could broken be. In twilight's fading light we slowly walk, while youths and maids in life's bright morning play and sport and make game of us in their talk, and think we know not we have had our day. But let them laugh. I've learned of thee, my sweet, that youth's perfection's not the crown of joys. Our simple kiss outdoes in depth and heat the unripe passions of these girls and boys. My love, the flame in our eyes will burn bright through evensong and past the end of night.
Well, that was beautiful. Thank you so much for performing and for having your sweet hub on. I appreciate it. That was a nice use of a prop there. Thank you. Our next performer is Hilla Stormbringer. Hilla, if you would please unmute yourself and take it away.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I've got two short-ish pieces for you because I love to be indecisive. The first one is about unrequited love and love for something other than a person. Many the years spent by your side, while slow the seasons turn. Many the times you closed your eyes, while need within me burned. Hark now, waves roll, water calls to me, deeply love you. Deeper is the sea. Glad was the day I came to you, all barefoot on the sand. Power that you have over me was given by my hand. True was the love I gave to you, and true my faithful heart. Was not my eyes that wandered far, nor tore our love apart. Hark now, waves roll, water calls to me, deeply love you. Deeper is the sea. 5 children fair I've born to you, 2 daughters and 3 sons. But the sea song that called to me now calls to everyone. I did not mean to teach them so of current and sea foam, but you have taken all I have, so I will take them home. Hark now, waves roll, water calls to me, deeply love you. Deeper is the sea. I see abandoned is our bed, in others' arms you lie. You will not see your children leave, nor hear my sad goodbye. While I alone came to the shore, now 6 return to sea. My love for you will never die, but selkie I must be. Hark now, waves roll, water calls to me, deeply love you. Deeper is the sea. deeper is the sea. And now, on the heels of that, something completely and utterly different, because I wish to sing to you something completely dear to my heart, something unusual, unexpected, and delectable. Well, I admit I love tacos. I love to spread them wide. I love to stuff them with savory things, then taste all the goodness inside. Then taste all the goodness inside. It will not do to love tacos. They cannot believe what I've said. Why not try bratwurst? You'll love it, my dear, with sauerkraut and some nice bread. With sauerkraut and some nice bread. Maybe instead of a taco, a frankfurt is what you desire. Try it with mustard, yes, that's what you want, while warming up by the campfire. While warming up by the campfire. No, you must not have a taco. A sausage is just what you need. It's thick and juicy, you'll love it, my dear. It's bursting with sweet fennel seeds. It's bursting with sweet fennel seeds. I say there's plenty of tacos. There's plenty for you and for me. It seems the tacos are willing enough. A taco lover I'll be. A taco lover I'll be. Proudly I say I love tacos. I love to spread them wide. I love to stuff them with savory things and taste all the goodness inside. And taste all the goodness inside. Absolutely all about tacos.
Tacos are wonderful. That was delightful. Thank you for both songs. They were both very different, as you pointed out. Our last performer is running behind, so I'm going to stall and I'm going to sing a song while we wait on him to join the Zoom call. So I have a little German folk song that I had learned many moons ago, and it always stuck in my head. It's one of my favorites. So, and it's all about love. So, here we go. Du liegst mir am Herzen, du liegst mir im Sinn, du machst mir viel Schmerzen, weiß nicht, wie gut ich dir bin. Ja, weiß nicht, wie gut ich dir bin. You bring my heart gladness, you make my days bright, you take away sadness, you fill my life with delight. You fill my life with delight. Come, let's all be singing. Come, let's all be glad. Come, laughter is ringing. This is no time to be sad. This is no time to be sad. Thank you. I want to thank everyone who has been performing, who was able to perform today. A lot of people weren't able to make it today. And that's completely understandable, but I appreciate everyone's dedication since May of last year in participating in these monthly or bi-monthly or however much you can. It truly brings my heart gladness. So really that song's dedicated to all of you guys, but I truly appreciate it. And I don't know, when we're going to get back to in person. I do know that while I miss singing with people in person, and I can't wait to do that again. I will kind of miss this. So who knows? Maybe we'll do this every now and then just for kicks and giggles once the PTSD of it's gone, you know. But I really appreciate it. But my person said that he's logging in now, so I appreciate you listening to me yammer on. One thing I always tell people every month on these that you, the viewer, can't see from home is while we're all performing, all the other performers have their own little Brady Bunch square. And after each performance, they all, you know, you did so great, you know, muted, of course. But it's so nice to actually see that um, that applause, if you will, and to have that camaraderie because it's really, really hard to perform to a camera and not to a live audience. And it takes a lot of guts for all these people to do this every month. And I truly appreciate everyone that is doing it. So just thank you all from the bottom of my heart. It makes my day. So without further ado, our last performer of the evening, let me make sure I pronounce his name right because I'm terrible at pronouncing names, is Kari Garan, her son. Garan, her son. And Kari, you're already unmuted. Welcome.
Oh, why, hello.
Hello.
Hello, world.
Yes. So if you would please take it away.
Absolutely. Well, hi, I'm happy to be our last performer of the evening. And friends, this is a night about love and about romance. So I had no other way to do this than to sing a heartbreaking song that makes me want to cry. This is by Tim Jennings. It's called The Veil. The age of 16, I crossed the wide ocean. Take up arms, stand neath the flag of my king. There on my belt hung the veil of a lady, still salted with tears and the promise they'd bring. She said, come back to me, though the whole world you travel. Win through each day and do honor for me, and let every victory you claim be a token. Return to my arms, your true love I shall be. For 6 months or longer, I journeyed to find them. An army assembled like nothing I'd seen. 10,000 men stood by the banks of the river, with armor and sunlight, swords battle keen. I joined the ranks of a stalwart battalion. My captain stood shoulder to shoulder with me. Though he fell, I fought through the veil as my armor, and for her in battle I claimed victory. And she said, come back to me, though the whole world you travel. Win through each day and do honor for me, and let every victory you claim be a token. Turn to my arms, the true love I will be. Promotion was mine through both luck and attrition. The king made me a captain, a knight soon to be. If I could but win him the city we couldn't. I won it for him, but 'twas her victory. Decade had passed in the blink of an instant. A full knight's commander bestowed upon me. My company rode neath the king's own high banner, and above it the favor of my own lady. And she said, come back to me, though the whole world you travel. Win through each day and do honor for me, and let every victory you claim be a token. Return to my arms, your true love I will be. And then the wars ended and we journeyed homeward. And the states, they were mine, 5 countries or more. That rag on my belt was 1,000 times mended. I came home to her to forget about war. She stood in the doorway as if she was waiting. Her sons 9 and 7, a daughter of 3. She smiled as she stared at me, trying to remember the boy and the veil and her promise to me. She said, come back to me, though the whole world you travel, and win through each day and new honor for me, and let every victory you claim be a token. Return to my arms, your true love I shall be. I left her bewildered with gifts for her children. Her eyes had changed colors in 10 years, it seems. For hers were the gray of a mother and house, not the blue oceans I held in my dreams. I joined then my king as he rode forth to battle, to fight a new war in some land or the sea. Yes, me of my lady and the favor I won. I smiled as I told him of her words to me. She said, come back to me, though the whole world you travel, and win through each day and new honor for me, and let every victory you claim be a token. Return to my arms, your true love I will be. So now we return to battle and bloodshed. My men call her name as we join in the fray. And I'll see her forever in the veil of my dreaming, until it's for her I will win through each day. For she said, come back to me, though the whole world you travel. Win through each day and new honor for me, and let every victory you claim be a token. Return to my arms, your true love I will be. Thank you.
Bravo. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you were able to join us this evening. This is your first time participating in these. I hope it's not your last.
You know what? I hope so too. I think that would be really great.
Yes, I think
Thank
so
you
too.
for
It's so
having me.
good to have you with us. And again, thank you to everyone, to Sifrid, to Tommaso, to Hilla, to Ursula, to Leonan, and to Kari. Thank you all for performing this evening. I hope you all have a lovely rest of your evening. And until next time.
Mistress Honor, thank you. Bye, friends.
Have a good week.